All right, Shabbat Shalom, mostly to our nice group gathered here in the Murray Davis Courtyard at Temple Beth Abraham, but also to those who may be watching on YouTube, and fewer of you on Facebook too. All right, we are going to begin with this additional soul that we receive on Shabbat, Yedid Nefesh, page 1. Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, Mishoch avdecha, El Ritzonecha, Mishoch avdecha, Ya la 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 la, El Ritzonecha. Yarut avdecha kemo haya yishtachavei elai ya la 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 eretz modarecha. All right, page 5. Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Miyom Leyom Yeshuato, Tzafru Vagoyim Kevodo, Bechol Ha'amim Niflotav, Ki Gadol Adonai, Umhulal Me'od, Al kol Elohim, ay nay ki kol Elohim, ha'amim elile ba'adonai, shemayim asa, v'hadar le'efanav, oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho, havul Adonai, mishpechot amim, havul Adonai, kavod va'oz, havul Adonai. Kivod Shemo, Se'u Mincha, Uvo Lechatzrotav, Ay Ishtachavu Ladonai, Behadra Kodesh, Chilo Mipanav Kol Haaretz, Imru Vagayim, Adonai Malach, Aftikon Tevel Batimot, Yadin Amim, V'Mesharim, Yisro Hashamayim, V'Tagel Haaretz, Sorry, I lost my place again. I'm getting too excited. That's the problem. Az yiranenu kol etzeyat lifnei Adonai kiva. Kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel betzedek, ve'amim ve'emunato. Ay nay. Yay nay. This part I know by heart. Yay nay. Yay nay. Actually, a teaching moment where I always tell the kids, read the words, right? Read along with the words. I know you think you have it memorized, but who knows what might be distracting you. Follow the words, right? Your memory will fail you, even at your age. At mine, for sure. Okay, we are going to turn to page 12, Romamu. And when I say key, instead of saying key, you're going to clap, right? Romamu, Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romamu, Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. All right, we turn now to page 13, Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid, havu l'Adonai bnei Eli, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, ay, havu l'Adonai, kevod shemo ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod yirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach, ay, kol Adonai be'adar, kol Adonai shover arazim, vayishaber Adonai et arzei halmanon, vayarkirem kemo egel libanon ve'et sirion kemo ven re'emim, ay, kol Adonai חוצב לבון אש, כל אדוני יחיר מדבר, יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יחולל איילון, ויחסו יערות, ובהיכלו כולו אומר כבוד, ay, אדוני למה הוא ישב וישב, אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. היי, יאי, יאי, ניי, 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 יאי, ניי, 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 יאי, ניי, 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 יאי, ניי, 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 יאי, ניי, ניי, יאי, ניי, 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 יאי, ניי, 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 יאי, 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 ניי, 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 ניי. Yay, nay, 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 yay, nay, 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 nay. All right, we turn now to Lecha Dodi, first two and last two stanzas, page 15. Lecha, Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela, la 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 la, lecha Dodi, likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושמו תפארת ולעילה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור המרחה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Bottom of 17, ימינו שמאל תפרוצי, את אדוני תריצי, על יד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, B'nai Shabbat nekabela. We rise and face the entrance, welcoming the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uvetzola, toch emunei am segula, boi kala, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, B'nai Shabbat nekabela, lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, B'nai Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated, and we say to any mourners in our midst, Hamakom menachem etchem, v'tok shar avalei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We are on page 19, Psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot leAdonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chasdecha, ve'emunatcha balelot, alei asor ve'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot leAdonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. We continue silently, pages 19 and 20. Tzadik tamar yifrach, kerez balvanon yisgeh shetulim, beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu, od yenuvun beseva, deshenim v'rananim yiyu lehagin, ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlatabo. Adonai malach gyot lavesh, lavesh Adonai ozita zar aftikon tevel baltimot, nachon kisecha me'az mlamata. Nasu nerot Adonai, nasu nerot kolam, yisu nerot och yam. Mi kolot mayim, mayim rabim adirim, mishpereyam, Adir b'marom Adonai, edotecha ne'emnu me'od, leveitecha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. All right, we rise now for the formal call to prayer, the Baruch Hu. It is on page 22, page 22. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai vorach leolam va'ed, Baruch Adonai vorach leolam va'ed. We may be seated. Baruch at Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bivaro bari v'ravim. Boreom v'layla, kolel mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, mavriyom v'layla, mavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. 24. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavita Amcha Ahavita Torah umitzvot Hukim umishpatim Otanu limadita Otanu limadita Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochpeinu v'kumeinu nesiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu Vahem Negeyomam v'layla Negeyomam v'layla Be'vatcha al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch Ata Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Ohev Amo Yisrael Page 25 Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta ba'am v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha v'yam. On page 29 now. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem keroshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת אדוני אלוהיכם אמת ומלכותו ברצון כלבליהם משה בני ישראל חנו שורה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם page 32 מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא נורא תהילות עושה פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בקע הים לפני משה תאלי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה. 33. I lay me down to sleep, and we hope and pray we wake up in the morning with a life renewed. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeitenu לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. פרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, פרי סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. All right, we can rise now for Vishamru. Good clapping one, page 34. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Page 35, the Chatzi Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויאמר דברה חירותי והמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך, יתברך וישתבח ויתבר וירם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ויאמרו Amen. Private Amidah now, pages 37 through 48. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. Kaddish Shalem, page 53. Yikara v'yikra shmei rabbah, v'yamad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon v'yamechon v'chei Beit Yisrael, bagalav izman kariv imeru, amen. Yahei shmei rabbah mevorach, le'olam alal me'almaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yimam v'yinaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha, b'richu, le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, v'chata v'nechamata d'amiram yama v'imeru, amen. Tikabot soton, Oton the Chosro, Kodama Hondi Vishmaya Vimeru, Amen. Yeshlam Rab Min Shemaya Vachayim Alena Vel Kosro Vimeru, Amen. O say Shalom Bimromav, Uya say Shalom, Alena Vel Kosrael, Vel Kosh Vetevel, Vimeru, Amen. All right. President time, and we are up to Grover Cleveland. So, in case you have not been here or haven't watched before, every week I do a different president of the United States in order and their relationship to Judaism or the Jewish community. Grover Cleveland, if you know anything about him in general, you probably know that he's the only president that was elected twice in non-consecutive terms. Benjamin Harrison was in between him. He was born in New Jersey. He was the son of a minister in the Presbyterian Church. He was the first elected Democrat since James Buchanan, before Lincoln. Everyone else had been a Republican after that. And again, I know I do this every week, but Republican, abolitionist, anti-slavery, Democrat, pro-slavery, not 100%, but in general, that's what it was. I know that doesn't seem likely today, but that is absolutely the way it was historically. He was the mayor, and although he was born in New Jersey, he was the mayor and governor in New York. He was very much a reformer. He stood up to Tammany Hall and the bosses in New York. And as president, he also stood up to anti-Semitism. He appointed someone to be the minister of Austria, the United States minister to Austria, who was married to a Jewish woman, and Austria wouldn't allow the appointment. And despite his protests, so he actually left the post empty instead. Also, Tsarist Russia wouldn't allow American Jews the right to visit relatives in Russia, and so he and the Secretary of State registered an official protest to that. He was also, he had a lot of issues, and there was a lot going on with Russian Jews at the time. This was the height of Jewish immigration to the United States from the Pale of Settlement. The ancestors of most Ashkenazic Jews in the United States came over during this period, between 1880 and 1923. The Johnson Act came and disallowed it. And so he vetoed the compulsory education test for Russian immigrants. Sounds very familiar. That's one of the things that's used throughout history to strip people of their rights. And post-presidency, he made a big speech after he was president at a protest in 1903 after the Kishinev pogrom, which is one of the most famous pogroms, killing sprees in Eastern Europe. This is what he spoke. Every American human sentiment has been shocked by a late attack on the Jews of Russia, an attack murderous, atrocious, and in every way revolting. As members of the family of mankind and as citizens of a free nation, we are here to give voice to the feeling that should stir every American worthy of the name. There is something intensely horrible in the wholesale murder of unoffending, defenseless men, women, and children. Grover Cleveland's words, post-presidency. But he did it while he was president as well. He walked that walk. As far as Jews that he was close to, the main one was Oscar Strauss, who was part of the Strauss family who founded Macy's. His brothers were more the business people. Oscar devoted his life to public service. His brothers made the money, in a sense, so Oscar could, do public service kinds of things. He campaigned for Grover Cleveland. He influenced him on the immigration issues. And Cleveland actually appointed Oscar Strauss as the U.S. minister to the country of Turkey. Isidore Strauss, one of the business heads, and Oscar were economic advisors during Cleveland's second term, and they were big on the gold standard, which of course may not hold up so well in history. But you don't know that it doesn't. You never know when things are going to make a comeback, honestly. Isidore served also a term in the House of Representatives with Cleveland's backing. If you know anything else about Isidore Strauss, the founder of Macy's, you may also know, this is a side issue, but he died on the Titanic. When Grover Cleveland retired, he was active as a guest lecturer at Princeton University. He remained close with the Strausses. They socialized post-presidency, and the Strausses were known to send him a box of matzah every year, which of course in those days you couldn't just buy at the local Safeway or Kroger like you can today. In 1905, so this was also post-presidency, after his big speech at the Kishinev pogrom, there was an anniversary, the 250th anniversary of the settlement of Jews in the United States, and Cleveland was the keynote speaker, and this is what he said at that time. Jews have been more influential in giving shape to the Americanism of today than that of any other group. It is time for the unreserved acknowledgement that the toleration and equal opportunity accorded the Jews of the United States have been abundantly repaid to us. Wherever in the world prejudice against the Jews still exists, there can be no place for it among the people of the United States. So Grover Cleveland, although he didn't know every Jew, he ranks quite highly in his relationship to the Jews among US presidents. So anyway, that's a little bit about Grover. Next week, we do Benjamin Harrison, who is in between. All right. It's time to bless your children if you happen to have them here. There's a couple of them here. And yeah, Avi Paulson, who's helping Josh now on the stream, he's going to come over and get blessed by his parents. We're going to make him do it. And all right, Sid, you got your mom here, which is wonderful. All right. For females, we say Simech Elohim Kasariv Karachav Leah. For males, Simcha Elohim Kafraim V'chi Menashe. For everybody, Yivarecha Adonai V'yishmerecha, Ye'er Adonai Panav Elecha V'chuneka, Yisad Adonai Panav Elecha V'yasem Lecha Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift the divine face toward you and grant you peace. All right, we turn briefly to page 273 for the blessing for the counting of the Omer, or you may know it by heart. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer, hayom shiva v'esrim yom shehem shlosha shavuot v'shisha yamim la'omer. Tonight begins the 27th day of the Omer, which means sometime this week you can get your hair cut. Lag BaOmer, coming up, the 33rd day of the Omer. All right, we rise now for the Aleinu, page 57. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula liotzer v'reshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, v'lo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו וגוהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשיבותה אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת, אין עוד על כן. ככתוב בתורתך נעים לך לעולם ועד, ונאמר וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Right, we may be seated. As we lovingly recall the memory of our departed relatives and friends whose yortzites we observe during the coming week, thinking especially tonight of Irene Ballant, Francis Cohen, Seth Koltoff, James Kraft, Betty Gittimer, Harry Gluckman, David Gross, David Harris, Stephen Kaplan, Joe Karen, Olga Kjelsberg, Stanley Korn, Ethel Kronik, Howard Levy, Samuel Lichtenstein, Noah Nathan, Joyce Oppen, Alan Pressman, Gloria Reed, Nathan Rosenblatt, Arnold Rosenthal, Bernard Schreiberg, Rebecca Schulman, Rose Schwartz, Paul C. Sr., Charles Silberstein, Charles Silver, Gertrude Weiss, Louis Waxman, Hasida Wittenberg, Stephen Wittenberg, George Zuckerman. We're in the Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period for Lou Schottland, the father of Marv Schottland, and John Alswing, the father of Aiden Brunner, and our thoughts are most definitely with you. We ask all those who are in mourning or observing yortzeit, as well as anyone else who would choose to do so, to rise for the mourner's Kaddish at this time. It's on page 61. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach Yerutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayichonu v'yomechonu v'chaydechol Beit Yisrael, Bagalav Isman Kariv Imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Lamei Maya. Yitbarach V'ishtabach Yitba'ar V'tromam V'naseh V'tadar V'taleh V'talal Shmei Dekudsha Barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imroma Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al Kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May the memory of the people you've come to say Kaddish for be a blessing to you always, and let us say, Amen. Okay, some announcements. So first, a brief story. I was delighted that I got to go to the Giants game yesterday. 2-hour and 25-minute game, which is unheard of in this day and age. I was freezing, but it was great. They won, had a lot of fun. But you might not realize it, but the Giants and the A's are among the worst teams this year, not in record. They're both doing extremely well in attendance. And I'm talking about attendance as a percentage of who's allowed in. So you would think that now that you're allowed to go, there are restrictions, but that everyone would want to go, you couldn't get a ticket. In fact, that's not true at all. You can still go. That is the same thing with Temple Beth Abraham. Okay, so, first service indoors tomorrow in the sanctuary. I thought, a bunch of people said, well, I don't want to take someone else's spot. There's only 32 people coming tomorrow. We can take up to 50. So that doesn't mean you should come because you didn't make a reservation, right? But if you're watching right now, or if you're thinking of coming in 2 weeks, because you can only come when it's a non-bar bat mitzvah week, don't think you're taking somebody else's spot, right? We will likely have the space for you. Okay, so it's basically every other week for the next few weeks. We are having indoor services in the sanctuary on Saturday morning. We are having minyan services on Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. And there you don't have to make a reservation. And Friday night, we will continue in the courtyard, for a while. And that is, I imagine, all the way through the summer. So that, again, you have to make reservations for those. So just something to note. I want to thank our greeters, Max Roman and Laura Gabrielle Fowler. I want to thank our streamers, Josh Mailman and Avi Paulson. I want to thank Albert and Helene Lobel, cousins of my wife Karen's, who are visiting us from Vegas and are out-of-state members of our congregations. They watch virtually every week on Zoom, and they got to take a trip here. Great to have you here. I think that is about it. Now, as you know, I've been honoring musicians who've died, but there's no way I can do Shock G, who is a rapper, an Oakland rapper who died this week. His band, one of the really early rap groups, very influential, Digital Underground, who actually had a crossover hit, which a lot of us, even non-rap fans like me, know, called Humpty Dumpty, right, or the Humpty Dumpty Dance or something. So that was, and Shock G died this week. May his memory be a blessing. He was an influential rapper. But again, we're not doing a Digital Underground song tonight. It's not like doing John Prine or something like that. So instead, we're going to go old school traditional tonight. We are going to do Yigdal, believe it or not, just the traditional Yigdal song, and it is on page 63. Page 63. Yigdal Elohim chai ve'yishtabach nimsa v'yein ein el metziuto echad v'yein yachid ke'ichudo ne'lam v'gam ein sof le'achduto ein lo demut haguf ve'ein o guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon lechol davar asher nivra rishon v'yein reshit le'reshito hino adot olam Lechol notzar, yoreg dulato umalchuto, shefa nevuato netano, el anshe segulato vetif arto, lo kam Yisrael, kemo she'od, navi umabid et temunato, torat emet natan le'amo el, al yad nevio neman beito, lo yachalif ha'el, velo yamir dato, Le'olamim lezulato, Sofer v'yodea sitarenu, Mabit lesof tvar b'kat mato, Gomel ish chesed kemifalo, Noten rashara kerishato, Yishlach leketz yamin meshichenu, Liftot b'chakeketz yeshuato, Metim Yechaye'el berov chasto, Baruch adei ad shem tehilato. Metim Yechaye'el berov chasto, Baruch adei ad shem tehilato. Shabbat shalom, and let's be safe and careful out there.